Friends, today we are going to check out Tarisland, a brand new MMO that just dropped this past June. Tarisland is a free-to-play MMORPG for Android, iOS, and PC, and it primarily focuses on factions fighting for control of these powerful artifacts that can alter the fate of the world. Like I said, the game just came out and it had 3 million people pre-registered to play this thing, and so ever since it came out, it's a rapidly growing cross-platform MMO, and these guys were kind enough to reach out, ask if I wanted to play their game. They wanted to sponsor a video, so here we go. We're gonna hop into Tarisland, we're gonna check this game out, and then of course, as I'm playing the game, I will talk about what the game is as a whole and what it offers to us, the players. So let's just dive in. So first of all, very easy to install and hop in. Quick little opening cinematic revealing that the world is filled with conflict, chaos. The world needs a new true god. All right, and then we get to our character creation, or rather, we choose a class. So Tarisland has 9 classes that you can choose from the Paladin to the Ranger, so on and so forth. You can see it on your screen right now, and they have up to 18 different specializations. So there is a lot of customization when it comes to your class. I personally decided to play as a Paladin, and then I went through the character customization to make my guy look, somewhat like Nixium, but not really, but I did the best that I could. And then I was able to jump in. So first of all, immediate first impressions, I think that Tarisland looks very good as an MMO. I actually really like this stylized look. It reminds me of WildStar back in the day, that MMO that got shut down forever ago, that never should have been shut down, by the way. I love this sort of almost cartoonish, but still somewhat serious looks to video games. I don't know, I just think it's a good looking MMO. And as soon as the game begins, as you have probably seen, you are dropped into the middle of this giant battle. I didn't really know who the enemies were. I didn't know what was going on exactly. That's not a bad thing though. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. All I knew is that I had to absolutely slaughter some people, and then suddenly I was fighting a raid boss. Yes, like with a full raid team. After a quick cutscene and then being put into this sample raid group of NPCs, suddenly I was fighting this giant dragon. The game doesn't really waste any time. This dragon actually has mechanics. The game is teaching you like, hey, you're gonna be raiding in Tarisland, and this is what it's gonna be like. You're gonna be fighting giant monsters. You're gonna be dodging cones. These monsters are gonna be summoning ads. You're gonna be running here, there, whatever. You're gonna be soaking splash damage. Like, I think this was great. You fall into the game and immediately it's like, oh, hey, you like raiding by chance? You like raiding? Well, we're just gonna give you like a little sample one right at the beginning. This is actually one of the big selling points of Tarisland. Tarisland is a game that is really focused around really strong raiding content, PvP, arenas, dungeons, solo challenge modes. They even got fishing. And who doesn't love fishing? And another thing that Tarisland has been getting praise for is this right here. Immediately after killing the dragon and getting his loot, we get this message saying 2 days prior. So we're going back in time now and we're seeing what led to the event of this big dragon attack and this big war in this city. And I really like that because, the game kind of almost starts you on a mystery, like, oh, what's going on? And then, you're slowly, that's going to be revealed in time. What am I getting at here? Just the fact that Tarisland, one of the things that it's really proud of is its storytelling and its character development, lots of cutscenes, and a really awesome soundtrack done by Russell Brower. Any fans of World of Warcraft out there, classic WoW, TBC and stuff, you would know this guy if you love that iconic music. Russell Brower, he was the guy behind all of it. And this is one of the games that he's working on now. So the soundtrack is awesome. So after the raid was over, I was pretty much just dropped into this really big open world that I got to go around and explore. Now, of course, there was this main narrative to follow, which I was following. The main narrative being that I encounter this tribe of Minotaurs and I'm helping them pretty much defend against various enemies that are attacking their village and stuff. We fight some centaurs. I help them gather some wolf hearts. I get to meet the chieftain of the tribe. There's a lot of cinematics and cutscenes and stuff, really bringing the characters to life. The gameplay too, I was enjoying. You have several abilities located at the bottom of the screen. You're slowly unlocking more abilities as you level up as a character. And I admit that it was around this time when I was running around in the village, doing quests and stuff, that I wanted to try the game on my phone just to see if it was, what was it like? There is seamless integration between the PC version of the game and the mobile version. So I just wanted to see just how does the game play on a phone versus the PC, because the PC was great. I took a minute, I installed it, I launched it, I did some quick updates, and I was able to make a new character, and I was able to do that tutorial raid that I was just talking about, just messing around with all these new abilities that I had from playing this necromancer wraith summoning class thing. Surprisingly, it did play very, very well. Despite the graphics, it was running incredibly smooth. It seemed incredibly well optimized. But I mean, obviously with a mouse and keyboard, you're gonna have more of that precision that maybe a lot of you guys that have been watching this channel for a while, most of you guys probably are PC gamers, but even on mobile, it was a completely easy experience, like an easy game to play. So I don't want to give away too much in regards to the story, but I will say that as I was questing in the game, one of the things that I quickly discovered was that Tarisland doesn't just have you killing a bunch of simple, easy whatever NPCs for very long, kind of like in other MMOs. Tarisland is very quick to throw boss NPCs at you with actual mechanics and things that you have to pay attention to, just to kind of break up that monotony of, you know, killing 1,000 wolves before you finally get to, you know, do a dungeon or kill a boss and stuff. And that was something that I appreciated, a lot of like boss NPCs appearing in the greater storyline. And something else that I appreciated about this game, like tremendously, is how Tarisland was constantly introducing its mechanics through its gameplay. In the beginning, I'm getting a sample raid, then I'm doing quests, I'm getting new gear, I'm engaging with the story, I'm meeting the lore characters, and of course I'm learning the story, which again, no spoilers, big evil thing threatening the land, we gotta stop it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. And in trying to figure out, oh, how do we defeat this big evil thing, I end up in a dungeon. A little ways into the game, you actually get to do a dungeon and you get to experience a dungeon with a group of NPCs just to introduce you to that side of the game's content, because there are a lot of dungeons in this game if that's the kind of player that you are. Maybe you don't want to raid, maybe you don't want to do PvP and go out and capture objectives and stuff. Maybe you don't care about that. And that's where the dungeons come in. And like the game immediately gives you a sample of it. I'm going in, I'm fighting these spiders, I'm topping the DPS meters. Look at that, dude. And then at the end of this dungeon, I get to fight this giant spider queen monster. And this spider woman was not just, you know, oh, a tank and spank spider. I mean, she actually had multiple phases where she would crawl up on the ceiling and stuff. We had to dodge cones. We had to smash small spiders before they reached the center of the room where they would explode. We had to deal with ads. Like, it was a proper dungeon fight. And even though, yes, you were doing it with NPCs, they were smart, they were healing, they were tanking. And I must say, playing Paladin was pretty fun. Once I really started getting that rotation down with my several abilities, it was cool. Again, I don't want to spoil, like, you know, the greater story, but you do defeat the spider woman ultimately, and you save the village, I should say, and then you're sent to what I'm assuming is like the big capital city of Taris, or maybe one of them potentially, pretty much to alert the king that, hey, things are going down, bad things are happening, and we should probably do something about it. You get to meet the king's sister, you get to meet the king himself. I got myself my first mount at this point, which was this big rhino looking monster. And it was around this time that I also took the opportunity to look at the game's in-game cash shop, because it is a free to play MMO. So of course they're going to have a cash shop. And most of the things on here are just cosmetics. It's just armor, mounts, things like that. And the game is still new, so it's not like this cash shop is polluted with like thousands upon thousands of things. It's just, at least from what I saw, it was just kind of like just a handful of, like, you know, just a couple of skins, a couple of mounts, a couple of pets that you could get if you wanted to. They even have these new sets like the Heart of Lewin appearance, which you can earn through Tarisland's unique prayer system, as well as other rewards like the ones you're seeing on your screen right now. Also, the Mesmerizer appearance, that's available for purchase for those of you who want to look like a spectral necromancer of sorts. And they even had this whole battle pass system, pretty much where you pay monthly to play the game, kind of like in other MMOs. And for doing this, you got a bunch of perks. You could level a bit faster if you put something like on the auction house. You didn't have to pay like a trader's fee for it. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was that you could just pay for like 7 days instead of like months at a time, and just get the benefits for just like a handful of days just to try it out if you want, like, to support the game financially. I don't know, I've never really thought about that, like, an MMO, instead of having like a monthly subscription, it's like, oh, hey, try it out with the perks for like a week, see what you think. So I actually appreciated that. I thought that was a cool little detail. I also unlocked talent points for the Paladin at this point, so I was able to customize my abilities a bit. I was leveling up my skills, making them more powerful. And then as I was going through the city, I got to engage in some puzzle solving, more cutscenes, of course, more boss fights. I reached a brand new dungeon, and genuinely, it was a fun experience. Like, it was a fun game to play. Whether it was me playing it on the PC, playing it on a mobile, the game was solid. There's definitely things that they could improve on down the road, just little details here and there. Like, for example, the lip sync wasn't very good in some of the cinematics, but that's really the only con that I could say after playing the game. Oh, the lip sync wasn't as good as it could be. That's it. Other than that, I loved the graphics of the game. The combat was fun, especially once you actually start learning the abilities and the rotation and stuff. I love that there's a talent system. Love all the classes and the customization of it. Also, there was a lot of people playing the game. As I was running around, doing quests, and as I was in the main city and stuff of Silverlit, there were players running around all over the place. So it's not like I was running in this big empty world by myself. So that, of course, is always appreciated in an MMORPG. I wish I could tell you guys more about the storytelling, because the story actually was good. I actually was enjoying it. Don't trust everybody you meet. You will get betrayed by some people that you think are your friends, and that was enjoyable. So not every NPC that you encounter is working for your best interests, let's put it that way. And then, of course, the way that the game introduces you to everything from, I think that they did a fantastic job for an introduction experience to the game, letting you, get a nice little sample of it over a few hours of gameplay to see if it's really a game that you want to invest your time in. Last but not least, the music. It's Russell Brower. Music was solid, very immersive, got to really pull you in with the soundtrack. I loved it. All that said, guys, I put a few hours into the game. I got to get a good little taste of it, good experience of it. Certainly didn't regret the time, certainly had fun. And if what you just watched with this video, if it looks interesting, if it looks like something that you might want to check out on PC or your phone, if you're more of a mobile gamer, it is linked down below in the description. You can check out the game in more detail and just give it a try. It's a free to play MMO, so why not give it a try? And last but not least, a little pro tip, if you do enjoy the game and you're like, hey, friend, come play this game with me. Let's just check it out together or something. If you do that, you can actually get yourself a free mount for it, just for referring friends. So guys, that was a quick little look at Tarisland, brand new MMO, just dropped this past June. I want to thank these guys again just for reaching out and being like, hey man, check out our game, see what you think about it. I think you guys have done a good job so far. It's a solid MMO. But guys, check them out, link down below in the description, and I will see you all with my next video.